Attraction to an older partner is often misunderstood as being purely about age, but in many cases it reflects a deeper psychological pull toward qualities that age is assumed to represent. When a woman feels drawn to an older man, she is frequently responding to signals of emotional maturity, stability, and life experience. These qualities can create a sense of safety and predictability, which are powerful motivators in human relationships. Emotional maturity suggests that a person has navigated challenges, learned from mistakes, and developed healthier ways of communicating and coping. This can be especially appealing in a world where many relationships are strained by impulsivity, poor communication, or emotional unavailability. Stability is another key factor. An older partner is often perceived as more settled, not just financially, but psychologically. Stability can mean having a clearer sense of identity, priorities, and long-term goals. For someone seeking a meaningful connection, this sense of direction can feel reassuring. It reduces uncertainty and creates an environment where planning for the future seems more realistic. Importantly, this does not mean that younger partners cannot be stable or mature. Rather, the attraction is shaped by the expectation that additional life experience may increase the likelihood of these traits. Life experience also carries emotional weight. Someone who has lived through different stages of adulthood may bring perspective that helps in navigating conflict and stress. Experience can foster patience and empathy, qualities that support healthier interactions. When disagreements arise, as they inevitably do in any relationship, a partner with perspective may be better equipped to respond thoughtfully instead of reactively. This ability to pause, reflect, and communicate constructively can be deeply attractive to someone who values emotional security. There is also an element of mentorship and learning that can subtly influence attraction. An older partner may introduce new viewpoints, cultural references, or practical knowledge. This dynamic can feel enriching, creating opportunities for growth and shared discovery. However, for this to remain healthy, it must be balanced with mutual respect. The attraction to experience should not turn into an imbalance of power. A strong relationship depends on both individuals feeling heard and valued, regardless of age. Psychologically, the desire for emotional maturity and stability can be connected to a broader human need for safety and belonging. People are wired to seek relationships that reduce stress and increase feelings of support. When a woman associates an older partner with calmness, reliability, and emotional intelligence, the attraction can feel both instinctive and rational. It is less about chasing novelty and more about seeking reassurance that a partnership can withstand challenges. Cultural narratives also play a role. Society often portrays older partners as wiser or more dependable, which can shape expectations and preferences. While these stereotypes are not universally accurate, they influence how people interpret attraction. A woman may consciously or unconsciously associate age with competence and leadership, qualities that can feel stabilizing. At the same time, it is important to recognize that maturity is not guaranteed by age alone. Emotional growth depends on self-awareness and effort, not simply the passage of time. Ultimately, attraction to an older partner can be seen as a search for qualities that support emotional well-being, steadiness, perspective, and thoughtful communication. These traits contribute to a sense of partnership that feels grounded rather than chaotic. When such attraction is rooted in mutual respect and shared values, it can form the basis of a healthy connection. The emphasis is not on age as a number, but on what age symbolizes the hope for a relationship marked by understanding, resilience, and emotional depth. Emotional safety is one of the most powerful and often invisible forces that determine whether a relationship can truly grow. When a woman evaluates emotional safety in an older partner, she is not looking for grand gestures or perfect behavior. She is paying attention to patterns, the small, repeated moments that reveal how he manages feelings, handles pressure, and responds to vulnerability. Emotional safety begins with consistency. A partner who reacts unpredictably or swings between warmth and withdrawal can create anxiety and confusion. In contrast, steady and reliable emotional behavior builds trust. It signals that disagreements will not threaten the connection, and that difficult conversations can happen without fear of humiliation or rejection. Communication is at the center of emotional safety. A woman seeking maturity listens closely to how an older partner expresses himself. Does he interrupt or dominate conversations? Or does he show genuine curiosity about her thoughts? Active listening is more than silence while the other person speaks. It is the effort to understand and validate feelings, even when opinions differ. When a partner responds with empathy instead of dismissal, it creates space for honesty. Emotional safety thrives in environments where both people feel permitted to express needs, fears, and boundaries without being judged. Another important aspect is how he handles conflict. Disagreements are inevitable, but the way they are managed reveals emotional intelligence. A partner who becomes defensive, sarcastic, or dismissive during conflict undermines safety. On the other hand, someone who can stay calm, acknowledge responsibility, and focus on solutions demonstrates maturity. Emotional safety does not mean the absence of conflict. It means that conflict becomes a tool for understanding rather than a weapon. A woman observing this dynamic is assessing whether challenges will bring them closer or push them apart. Vulnerability is closely tied to emotional safety. When an older partner is willing to share his own uncertainties and past lessons, it sends a powerful message that openness is welcome. This mutual exchange deepens intimacy and fosters trust. If he avoids vulnerability or treats emotional topics as weaknesses, it creates distance. Emotional safety grows when both partners feel that their inner worlds are respected. It requires courage to reveal fears or insecurities, and a supportive response reinforces the belief that the relationship is a safe space. Respect for boundaries is another pillar of emotional safety. A mature partner understands that emotional closeness does not erase individuality. He recognizes when to give space and when to offer support. Ignoring boundaries, whether emotional or practical, can feel intrusive and destabilizing. By honoring limits and preferences, he shows that he values her autonomy. This respect reduces tension and allows trust to develop naturally. Emotional regulation also plays a critical role. Life inevitably brings stress, disappointment, and frustration. A woman watches how an older partner manages these emotions. Does he lash out, withdraw, or blame others, or does he process feelings constructively? Healthy emotional regulation demonstrates self-awareness and responsibility. It reassures her that intense moments will not spiral into chaos. Stability in emotional responses fosters a sense of calm, making the relationship feel secure even during difficult times. Importantly, emotional safety is not about perfection or the absence of mistakes. Everyone experiences moments of impatience or misunderstanding. What matters is accountability, a partner who can acknowledge errors, apologize sincerely, and work toward improvement strengthens trust. This willingness to learn from missteps signals growth and commitment to the relationship's well-being. Over time, emotional safety becomes the foundation upon which intimacy is built. It encourages openness, reduces fear of judgment, and supports authentic connection. For a woman drawn to an older partner, the expectation is often that life experience has cultivated these qualities. When emotional safety is present, attraction evolves into trust and partnership. Without it, even strong initial chemistry struggles to survive. Emotional safety transforms a relationship from a fragile bond into a resilient connection capable of enduring change and challenge. Trust is not created through promises or appearances. It is built gradually through repeated experiences of reliability and honesty. When emotional safety is present in a relationship, it becomes the soil in which trust can grow. A woman assessing long-term compatibility with an older partner is paying close attention to whether she feels secure enough to be herself without fear of ridicule or emotional backlash. Emotional safety allows both people to lower their defenses. When defenses drop, authenticity emerges, and authenticity is essential for determining whether two people are truly compatible. Long-term compatibility depends heavily on the ability to share thoughts and feelings openly. In an emotionally safe relationship, conversations are not filtered through fear. A woman can express concerns, preferences, and dreams without worrying that her words will be minimized or weaponized later. This openness creates a clearer understanding of each person's values and expectations. When partners feel safe enough to discuss difficult topics such as future goals, boundaries, and personal challenges, they gain insight into how well their lives can realistically align. Emotional safety also influences how partners interpret each other's behavior. In an unsafe environment, misunderstandings easily escalate into suspicion. Small mistakes may be viewed as signs of disrespect or betrayal. In contrast, when trust is supported by emotional safety, partners tend to give each other the benefit of the doubt. They assume good intentions and approach misunderstandings with curiosity rather than accusation. This mindset reduces unnecessary conflict and strengthens the emotional bond. Consistency is a key factor in building this trust. A partner who behaves predictably and follows through on commitments demonstrates dependability. Over time, consistent actions reinforce the belief that the relationship is stable. A woman evaluating compatibility looks for patterns. Does he keep his word? Does he show up emotionally during stressful times? Consistency reassures her that the relationship is not based on temporary enthusiasm, but on steady commitment. Another dimension of long-term compatibility is emotional resilience. Life inevitably introduces stressors such as career changes, family challenges, and personal setbacks. Emotional safety prepares a relationship to handle these pressures. When both partners trust that they can rely on each other for support, adversity becomes easier to navigate. A woman drawn to an older partner may expect that his life experience has strengthened his coping skills. If he responds to challenges with calm collaboration rather than avoidance or blame, it signals that the partnership can withstand external pressures. Emotional safety also encourages growth. In a trusting relationship, partners feel comfortable pursuing personal development because they know their efforts will be supported. A woman assessing compatibility observes whether her ambitions are welcomed or threatened. When an older partner celebrates her progress and remains open to his own growth, it fosters a dynamic of mutual encouragement. This shared commitment to improvement strengthens the sense of partnership and reduces the risk of stagnation. Transparency further deepens trust. Honest communication about feelings, intentions, and past experiences prevents hidden resentments from accumulating. Emotional safety makes transparency possible because it reduces fear of judgment. When partners share openly, they create a realistic picture of each other. This clarity is essential for determining whether their lifestyles and values are compatible over time. Importantly, trust built on emotional safety is self-reinforcing. Each positive interaction adds to a reservoir of goodwill. When conflicts arise, this reservoir helps partners approach problems with patience and empathy. Instead of viewing disagreements as threats, they see them as opportunities to strengthen understanding. A woman evaluating an older partner is often looking for evidence that he can engage in this constructive process. Ultimately, emotional safety transforms attraction into a sustainable connection. It allows trust to deepen and compatibility to become visible through everyday interactions. Without emotional safety, relationships remain fragile, easily shaken by misunderstanding or insecurity. With it, partners can build a foundation strong enough to support shared goals and long-term commitment. Trust becomes not just a feeling, but a pattern of behavior that confirms the relationship's durability. In relationships, words can be persuasive, charming, and reassuring, but behavior is what ultimately reveals character. When a woman evaluates an older partner's emotional reliability, she pays closer attention to what he does than to what he says. Promises and declarations may create an initial impression, but consistent actions over time provide the evidence needed to determine whether those promises carry weight. Behavior is harder to fake and more difficult to sustain if it is not authentic. This is why observation becomes a quiet but powerful tool in assessing emotional dependability. Everyday interactions offer countless opportunities to observe reliability. Small moments, arriving on time, following through on commitments, remembering important details, communicate respect and attentiveness. These actions may seem minor, but they accumulate into a pattern that signals whether a partner can be trusted. A woman notices whether an older man's behavior aligns with his stated values. If he speaks about honesty but avoids difficult truths, or claims to value partnership while acting dismissively, the inconsistency creates doubt. Alignment between words and actions strengthens credibility and fosters confidence in the relationship. Emotional reliability is especially visible during stressful situations. Anyone can appear calm and supportive when circumstances are easy. The true measure emerges when challenges arise. A woman observes how an older partner reacts under pressure, whether he becomes irritable, withdrawn, or blaming, or whether he maintains composure and communicates constructively. Stress acts like a magnifying glass, revealing coping strategies and emotional habits. Consistent, supportive behavior during difficult moments reassures her that he can be depended upon when it matters most. Nonverbal behavior also carries significant meaning. Tone of voice, facial expressions, and body language communicate emotions that words may conceal. A partner might verbally express agreement, while his posture or tone suggests impatience or indifference. These subtle cues influence how safe and understood a woman feels. When nonverbal signals consistently match spoken intentions, they reinforce a sense of authenticity. Emotional reliability is strengthened when communication feels coherent and sincere across both verbal and nonverbal channels. Patterns over time are more informative than isolated incidents. Everyone has occasional lapses in judgment or moments of inconsistency. What matters is whether these lapses are exceptions or recurring behaviors. A woman assessing reliability looks for stability in emotional responses. Does he repeatedly demonstrate empathy and accountability, or do supportive gestures appear only when convenient? Consistent, positive behavior builds trust gradually, creating a sense of predictability that is essential for emotional security. Behavior also reveals priorities. How a partner allocates time and energy reflects what he values. If he consistently makes room for the relationship despite competing demands, it signals commitment. Conversely, frequent cancellations or distractions may suggest that the relationship is not a priority. A woman interprets these behavioral patterns as indicators of long-term reliability. Actions communicate investment more clearly than verbal reassurances. Another important aspect is how he treats others. Observing interactions with friends, family, or strangers provides insight into character. Respectful and considerate behavior toward others suggests a broader pattern of empathy. Emotional reliability is rarely confined to one relationship. It tends to be part of a person's general way of engaging with the world. A woman notes whether kindness and patience are consistent traits or selectively displayed. Accountability is equally revealing. When mistakes occur, behavior shows whether a partner is willing to acknowledge responsibility. A sincere apology followed by corrective action demonstrates maturity and reliability. Avoiding blame or repeating the same harmful behavior undermines trust. A woman watches for evidence that lessons are learned and applied, not merely discussed. Ultimately, observing behavior allows a woman to move beyond surface impressions and evaluate the substance of a partner's character. Words may initiate attraction, but actions sustain confidence. Consistent behavior that reflects honesty, empathy, and responsibility provides reassurance that emotional support will remain steady over time. By focusing on what a partner repeatedly does rather than what he promises, she gains a clearer understanding of his capacity for reliability and the potential durability of the relationship.